What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 9 of Star Citizenship. That now a little bit more known, maybe, podcast where two of us plebs are trying to tell you a thing or two about how to, I guess, nowadays survive in the worst. What's up, Orchid?
What's up, Jake?
Not
So,
much.
so we got to start it off by mentioning that Chegg and I are no longer friends.
Remove me from Spectrum, Orchid.
But that's not going to stop us from doing a podcast together.
Thank you, Rev.
Thank you, Rev, for ever immortalizing that clip. That
Completely out of context, just saying.
No, it's completely in context. That's exactly what he said to me. Just doesn't want to be my friend anymore, so. Let's start it off with some news. Yeah, let's do some news, man. So we are in Alpha 3.9 as of this podcast, which is very exciting because that brings with it a lot of news to discuss.
Bunch, man. Well, bot, right?
Yeah.
We are discovering stuff.
So to start it out, we both were very impressed by the new effects coming on the windshield and around the ships. I got to experience that firsthand when I blew up someone's ship, an NPC ship. I am not a criminal, and
I know you've been to prison, man.
All right, we'll talk about that later. So yeah, I blew up a ship, saw the sparks flying, and then drove through it, and it was so sweet looking. It was very cool to see. So the effects.
And in New Babbage, like there's like the little droplets on most of the canopies now. But also, speaking of the same thing, if you go out in New Babbage and it's snowing, and it's always snowing, your armor or clothes get covered with snow. You turn completely white. I mean your armor.
Yeah.
and then when you go in, it melts slowly. Like these little details are absolutely amazing. I'm just mind blown.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. Another thing we noticed while flying around is that the R&Rs now have names to them.
Noticed. I would have never freaking noticed that, but that's crazy.
I thought it was strange because when I went to go select it, it had was it? Beautiful Glenn. I don't know who you are at CIG, Glenn, but you are very beautiful apparently.
If anyone knows if those are names of developers or maybe lore names or something, please share. Sharing is caring.
It seems really random. I posted something on Spectrum. There's no feedback yet, but in the Ask the Devs, I was asking them, where do the names come from? Because to me, it looks like random name generator. It doesn't look like it doesn't look like they purposely named anything. Because some of them are like Bountiful Field or something like that. I don't know what that means.
It makes sense, right? Well, my idea was maybe if we would look at like Google Earth, like the area around CIG Studio, some of the CIG studios, maybe we can find like restaurants or bars with same names. You know.
Devs, so if you're watching, please let us know. How did you come up with those names?
And also, Dev, start watching. I mean, there's some good content here.
I mean, Chris, I'll talk to you later about it, but please get your devs to watch.
Wait, Chris?
Yeah. Me and
we
Chris.
Can start with Xylo or someone, you know?
No. Me and Chris go way back, so.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So, Chris is watching this. Just get your devs to start watching this.
Speaking of devs, right? They decided to. So actually, Xylo. Well, I mentioned Xylo, but he was the one who answered to that. There was a post on Reddit. Someone suggested not calling the next patch 4.0 because nothing major is happening, and to save 4.0 for example when Pyro comes out, because that's like kind of huge event. And Xylo replied that, oh, it looks like someone read our emails, doxed us, whatever. You don't have to make a petition this time. We're going to do it, which I agree with.
Yeah.
However, it did spark a lot of confusion. Today on Board Gamers AMA, someone actually asked if he has any information about CIG documentation being leaked because of this post, and he had to explain that no, guys, it's just a joke of like them saying that we're on the same page
Yeah.
and all that. It was kind of funny. What do you think about it?
I think it makes sense because I mean, adding pyro into the verse is gonna make a huge leap. Sorry for the pun. In the gameplay, so that makes the most sense to you instead of just you know, uh, I think 3.9 was a pretty good jump because we added in new moons, we added in Babbage, things like that. But we were expecting it, around this time. So I think it makes sense now to just keep the 3 point whatever in uh this year, and then once when we actually get Pyro, which I'm speculating now is going to be 2021. I think that would make more sense to start naming it 4 dot whatever until we get to the point where something big and major comes around, and then go to 5 dot.
We actually were talking about this in last podcast, where I think we both agreed that with removing all the stuff, especially now when they have moved Crusader and the landing zone and the planet itself and all that 4.0 will be nothing major to look for, and especially after 3.9 being bringing, even with the removed stuff, bringing so many things, it will be very, how do you say that, I mean, the expectations were built high, and then it's not going to deliver. So I'm okay with them. The numbering really doesn't mean much, but it does kind of feel good if like 3.9, brought stuff like, okay, 4.0 sounds bombastic, kind of like you expect something big from it.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. However, I don't know. Yeah, it will be strange because these patches will come at random times, I guess.
Yeah, and I think they should reserve those, you know, 3 or whatever the first number is. Reserve those for major milestones because
I agree. Yes.
adding in microtech and more moons, that's not a big milestone. It's adding into what's already here. And especially with adding in Crusader, they're just adding in another planet, some ships and stuff like that. Going to Pyro, that's adding the entire jump system.
And the first jump as well. But then, what is the next thing in your opinion that should be 5.0? I mean, adding another system, because then that's been done already.
Um, yeah, I would say that's a pretty big leap as well, going from us being able to go between Stanton and Pyro to being able to go to Stanton to Pyro to another system and then back again. It is something pretty big, but
Okay.
I honestly don't know what's on the horizon right now for certain things. So I really think the next
Well,
big, the next big uh, version change would be a new game loop. I think.
okay. I was having something. I didn't even think about it, but I like that.
Yeah.
I
So
was thinking more of
4.0 is
a
going to introduce the jump system game loop,
yes,
and
yes.
then once when we start maybe salvaging, refueling, or scrapping, whatever it's going
But
to
there
be.
might be some other loops that don't, like, maybe data running. It might come with next or in next few patches, and it just cargo, but with like e-cargo kind of. So I don't know.
It's
I mean,
hard to
it's a good
say.
idea if it's
Like
a major thing.
like you
What
said,
about
I
what
don't
about
think it.
bringing a bring system like Terra or Sol, for example, which is our system? Because that will bring so much. Because Pyro, we know Pyro is like, it's another system, and right now it's a big thing for us because we never had an option to jump from one system to another. But adding Nyx, it's, or Odin, or these are like empty systems. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's major, but it's in my mind it's as major as adding Crusader to be playable. But then adding Terra, or Earth, to the entire equation, that's crazy, dude. Imagine the day we land in, I don't know, London. Like,
Yeah, that'll be pretty crazy.
yeah. Dude.
So
All
yeah,
right.
and like you said, I think the biggest thing is the numbering system doesn't make a big deal. It's just those milestones that I'm really looking forward to, which introduce new content. And like I said, this being,
I
Microtech with another landing zone or places to land on Microtech, their moon, it didn't make a big change in what's going on. There are things that got introduced, which we'll get into right now, but I think, yeah, that really didn't make a big change to where I would say it warrants, 4.0 status.
So numbers are not that important, but I also think it relieves them of pressure of, we have to we are at 3.9 now, we have to do 4.0 and bring this and that. Instead, 3.10, 3.11,
10 is
whatever,
kind of.
and for 4 and on. Yeah.
So yeah, so some of the new items that we did see in 3.9, being the food and drinks, which is pretty exciting. I got myself a torpedo burrito that I've been waiting so long.
Yeah.
The chicken one is the best, just so you know.
I'm smashing burgers, man. I had burrito, it was good.
Yeah.
But I'm ending every day session in New Babbage with a burger, and I'm gonna skip the veggie one. I'm sure they're good, but yeah,
Not
my
worth
favorite
it.
so far is chicken as well, chicken burger, and that fizz coke. I can't get one right now in real life, but opening the can
Yeah.
in game and glug glug glug,
Yep.
so good.
Yeah. The double burger I was pretty excited about, so I got myself one of those already.
No, I'm totally okay with that. It's good.
Yeah, one other thing that came in was the prison system, which we've been talking about quite a bit. It has not. We haven't fully tested that yet. We've been discussing this. I think what we want to do is create new player accounts, alt accounts, and then use those for our bad guys. So we'll be testing that out a little bit later. I did have a very brief test of the prison system by accident, which we'll get into.
Yes.
Uh, what we did in Star Citizen. But yeah, it it is going to be pretty cool to try it out when we get to that point.
Briefly on it because I did not end up in prison because I really don't want to, but it will eventually will happen either because of a bug or because of just a game loop, or we're gonna end up with these new accounts and get there. But it's I think it's a great level 0, gameplay loop, and I really like. I want to hear your opinion about this because I wasn't 100% sure about how everything works. But here's like long story short for those who are not playing, but they're only like browsing through like different content on different social medias and right platforms. If you commit a crime, you end up in prison. In prison, sentences are from several minutes. I think 15 minutes is the shortest one, and I think currently maximum one is 30 hours, and 30 hours real life hours. And currently you can log off and go play something else and come back in a day and keep playing, or you can do two things. You can mine your way out, and just like in mining in the verse, some ore is more expensive, and it gives you like you exchange it for more merits, and you can significantly shorten your sentence, or you can escape. Now if you mine or just wait, you are back to normal. You're just the regular lawful citizen, and you can continue on with whatever you're doing. However, if you escape prison, which mine it is really stressful and complex, you still have crime stat more than what you've had, and the bounty on your head will be 15 to 20,000 alpha UEC. You will need someone to pick you up because the planet itself is extremely hot. You have like 10 minutes when you get out of the prison. You don't have your armor, you don't have your ships. Someone has to pick you up and take you to Korea or somewhere where you can clean your status by hacking. in all this time you are being haunted because there's like a literal sign above your head because you're a prisoner, escaped prisoner. I'm even. What do you think about that? The fact that because they were saying that you will have to be in game. Personally, I'm okay with them. If you have like 20-hour sentence, and you go and play whatever else, the verse is free of you. I don't mind. It's someone who's bullying people is locked in, and your account cannot come out and do same things again. And since these sentences are so long, I'm totally okay with people being capable of turning off the game and doing something else. I think that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, yeah, and it makes sense because, like you said, there's going to be times when you're going to get sent to prison by accident, which is what I experienced myself later. But
Porn.
it does make sense that you're not going to want to have to do game time prison sentence, because if it was 30 hours and you have to work it down, and even if you don't feel like working it down or escaping, it feels like you're going to be trapped in there for way too long if they did game time hours versus real time. So yeah, exactly. If I got a sentence and it was by accident and I didn't really feel like mining or breaking out or anything, I would just log off, go find something else for a while, and then come back later. I think the way they set it up right now is gonna the best way, but I think when I start experiencing some of these more drastic accidental
Yeah.
crimes, I think that's when I'm gonna start to get a little bit frustrated. If I have to sit there and mine things out when I don't, and force me into that gameplay, um, and there's
But
no other way to get out of it.
except for you can not play.
Right.
You see what I mean? Like, because a lot of people are not feeling good about you being able to turn off the game, go play World of Warcraft or whatever, and come back tomorrow and just continue playing without doing your time in game. But I really think it's fine. It's fine. That person is not there. They cannot bother you and whatever. I
And
think it's a really solid foundation for prison
right.
gameplay.
And like I said, I'm probably going to get frustrated at some point. So if we're sitting
That's
here,
why prison is there, right?
yeah, well, no, but that's the thing that's
You
going
mean
to
by
frustrate me.
accident?
Exactly. I think that's when I'm going to get the most frustrated, is if I really want to be playing and I don't want to mine or escape out of prison and cause other people to get a crime stat, then I'm going to get super annoyed, because then I'm
Well,
going to have to wait until that sentence is over until I can go play the game.
they thought about this, and the way it works, you're gonna like this. Your sentence is not based on the crime stat level. It's based on how many crimes you committed. So if you do any crime and you end up in prison, so you're like, okay, I did a crime, I didn't want to do it, and you go and get yourself into prison. There's multiple ways, right? Like dying in front of a bounty hunter, player, NPC, whatever, and you end up in prison. You're gonna have like 15 minutes. Now, if you continue wreaking havoc around the system and you pile up these sentences, you can get up to 30 hours.
So it's
So
not based off a crime stat?
no,
Oh,
it's
okay.
based off how many. I think that's fine because just because of that, later on, crime stats should matter. Right now, because we know how volatile the game is, right? You can just get a game can glitch and you can get impounded for pad ramming by accident, for example. Right. Okay, 15 minutes. I mean, you're gonna get pissed off, obviously, because you were doing something, but at the same time, it's a bug, like it's fine.
And if you're more cautious about it, then no, you're not going to be serving.
I've played a lot and I still did not end up in prison, so you
Yeah.
can't. Obviously, it's gonna happen,
That was actually one of the
but you
things
can be cautious.
I was curious about, because when I did go to prison, it was only crime stat 1 and it was over fast. So I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
We'll get into that more in a little bit here.
Yeah.
So weather conditions also a new thing, which we're noticing, which touched on a little bit, where we noticed when you go outside, start building up this frost on your armor, and then as you go somewhere inside or something armor, it starts so very cool. I like it.
But also your ships get affected by strong winds and stuff like that. So if you turn off your engines in the atmosphere and there's a strong winds in Daimar or New Babbage, you will you will see your ship like moving around. Ground vehicles get affected as well, big time, and yeah, it's very immersive. I like it.
You want to hit on the next items here?
Sure. So this is another one that, I mean, we talked about a bunch of these that were supposed to come in future, right? But right now that we have them, so one very useful thing that we got now is inner thought wheel, the new wheel menu, which I thought is kind of stupid. You hold F and then right click, and when I was listening to our people playing with this, I was like F and then right click. It's great. Um, it's very, so you get used to it like this. I've already set up some of the shortcuts, taken off and on my helmet, which obviously I managed to forget, and obviously Arcade clipped it, me dying and of suffocation. Absolutely great foundation again. I want some other things there, like, because for example, things that I have problems with is with new clothing system and everything, where temperature matters. If you can only have your helmet on if you have your undersuit. However, you can't, which I don't know why, you cannot have clothes if you have undersuit, which makes no sense to me. You should be able to have clothes and undersuit. I mean, it's super, right? It's like underwear almost. um, I would like to, I would like to see an option in this menu where I can swap clothes for undersuit, for example.
Yeah.
So that, like, that would be super cool.
Well,
But I think that will be implemented, or whatever.
yeah.
But the wheel itself.
Sorry.
No,
So
go for it. Go
I
for it.
was gonna say that yeah, either if they implement it through the thought wheel, but we've also seen in different areas a clothing station, like
Yeah,
a machine. So hopefully that's gonna be a hot swap thing. Like you go
on
straight up
ships as
to it.
well, right?
Yeah. You go straight up to it, you hit F, and then it'll just quickly swap you from the armor you're wearing clothes that you last had on. So hopefully that'll
True. But also we're doing some things that we never did before, like emotes, for example. You wave at someone or salute or dance or whatever, man. Like, it's also the new, like, I menu is really working much better right now. Like your personal inventory and whatnot.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like the new look of it too. It looks a lot better than
Oh, it's polished, man.
so.
It actually looks good.
Good job.
Um, yes. It's so funny. We're talking about so many things here that we like, but actually, it's gonna change at some point. I mean, we've been playing quite a lot, and there's a lot of frustration. But I like the fact that we're starting with like such good things, because I mean, this patch is good and very perspective. It has is good perspective. So while we are in UI, friends list got updated. Um, and I like it, especially in the menu. The problem is with notifications. I just left the game with 48 notifications every time I leave my ship and come back and all. But like, these are little things. Visually, it looks great and it's functional. And I don't know, you were playing with the corp channel as well. How I mean, it feels good.
Yeah, I think
Eh,
the one thing that I mentioned before that we still need to test is the in-game comm system to see if it.
oh, true. We got to
Um,
do that.
but setting up the org thing again, it's every single time we have to set up this channel, invite people, so it requires me going through setting up the channel and then catching people online to be able to
One
send
by one, yeah.
it. However, one thing I want to test out as well is offline notifications, if they work. So if I were to invite you to the org channel when you're offline, when you come online next, will that invitation available?
Mm,
I haven't
we can
tested
test that. Yeah. Um, I'm just gonna add one more thing that I think we've skipped, and I really like. I like it and I hate it at the same time. They introduced two new armors, which currently are undersuit and helmet, but that's just because, from what I've heard, is because of how they were bugging. But one is Novikov, and the other one I don't know. One is for extreme cold, and the other one is for extreme heat. And they are extremely good. I would say that already falls under overpowered stuff to me. There is, if you want to be um, productive in the game right now, you will have these two suits, and that's it. And every other suit is worse than that in every possible way. So one will protect you from extreme heats and somewhat cold. The other one will protect you from extreme colds and somewhat heat. So you just need to have these two. They look good. They really look good.
Yeah.
But I don't like the fact that there's no need for any other armor right now in the game. And they come with extended inventory as well. So I don't know. That's kind of.
Which hopefully that gets addressed and it changes it. But we did notice the different values of all the different armors. So how different armors will affect your hypo and hyperthermia levels.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I still wear my I forget the name,
Oh, you're heavy.
the
Yeah.
calico or whatever it's called. I still
Mm-hmm.
wear that armor because when you wear that Novikov armor, it does clip out your motor class again. Heavy armor does the same thing. So I stick with medium and light armor.
I am not using armor anymore. I am running around in either my suit with light helmet, or I bought the new clothes from New Babbage with like furry coat and that. And I found the same beanie that I'm using here, so I'm rocking that as well.
Oh yeah,
And yeah, and I like that. However, I do have Novikov, and in, and I like this. Like if I know I'm gonna go out and spend some time outside, I have it and I equip it. You know what I mean? Like, and some details with Weather are so good, which is important for armors as well. For example, if you go to Daimar, it's extremely hot. It's 80 Celsius. I don't know. Yeah. By the way, that's also they're gonna add the what's the name, the Imperial units as well at some point. It's planned, but we don't have it now. But 80 Celsius, nowhere on this planet Earth, unless you're on top of the fucking active volcano, it's that hot. Like 80 Celsius is like we can't survive there. Um, let's our body temperature is 36. So this is like 80. No. Yes. Yes. Um, and then if you that's when the sun is up, and there are more like the planet where the it's not Aberdeen. Yeah, it is. Where's the prison? Where's Clasher? Yeah, it is Aberdeen. It's not
yeah,
Ariel. It's Aberdeen. Yeah. There, the temperature is 230 Celsius. So not even Novikov can protect for that. Novikov is like 225, and this is 230 Celsius. However, on Daymar, where it's like 80, if you are on the dark side of the moon, it's freezing cold, man. Like you have to actually change. You have to swap armor. And this is such a nice touch. I
oh
love
yeah,
this.
yeah,
These little things, man, they are so good with these things. I need that in my game. Like I really need that in my game.
yeah. And I've mentioned that quite a bit when me and Chegg play together. That the level of detail that they think things through is very impressive because I guess I got into this discussion with someone, and I'm just gonna take a second. But how do you classify this game as like a MMO? Is it a simulator? Is it what? How would you classify this game? And I was thinking about it. I think the best classification you can give this game is a sandbox simulator, is because there's so much to do. You can do pretty much whatever you want. And then when we get to the actual launch of this game, 42, um, it will be do what you want. I mean, you can literally do what you want in this,
Yeah.
and you're basically playing a simulated character. You're doing simulated flying, simulated driving, and the possibilities are endless. So it was interesting when I got into that conversation. I forget who I was talking to, but um, because I think someone mentioned that it's an MMO. It's not just an MMO. It's a lot of
Mm.
games merged into.
And
So
it falls under MMO category, but it also falls under some other, right?
yeah,
And now with these little things added, and I think 3.9 added more little things than editor patch. I don't know, we're still new, but from what I'm picking up, it added more of these details than any other patch. And now I think because there's a running meme about few things that Chris Roberts uses and other devs a lot, like if you drop this coffee mug, I'm not even gonna go over that. But one thing that they say a lot is fidelity, and everyone's joking about it like fidelity, like I was joking about raw and whatnot. But actually, to be honest, like it's gaining a lot of fidelity already, and you can see why they're sticking to the word because it's fucking true. It's true. All right, we got the
the
new ship.
yep, take it away on
I don't
that.
like it. Everyone loves it, man.
I don't like it either. I mean,
Everyone's
there's not a
mind
lot
blown by it.
there's not a lot that me and Chegg agree on, but I think we can both agree the Prowler is probably not the worst ship, but one of the worst ships. Because
It's like I don't care about this ship.
yeah. I mean, right now it has no real gameplay purpose because it's a drop ship. It's made for taking combat personnel into a combat situation, which this will make sense, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But with more content coming, it'll make more sense and it may have more purpose to it. But right now, this is the thing that frustrates me is getting ships like this that really don't have a purpose in the verse. That the guns are slow on it. It's made for transport. It's a military
The armor is very
vehicle.
good.
Yeah, that's the only thing it's good
I
for
think the
is
ship is
fighting.
perfect. Don't get me wrong. I think the ship is perfect for its purpose. I just don't give a shit about this purpose. um, it is important that we get the first Tavaran ship so that we can see their language in game, just like Bound Defender. Um, I do. I would never fly an alien ship. I want our ships. But I want to see them. I want to hear them. I like their new jump drive quantum time animation. It's interesting. The new technology that they're bringing, it's very flashy with these like like the armor. It's very interesting and impressive. It's an impressive ship. The transformation when it turns into a freaking bird, sure.
That was
But
probably some of the main things that I liked about it was, like you said, the shielding that comes over
mm,
and then goes away, and the transformation it goes through after it's lifted off and it's flying. Those are probably my favorite things about that ship. Is it really shows what CIG can accomplish in these animations and these different things, different components in the ships. It's going to be very interesting to see where it takes them with ship design.
if you have a problem, try spamming J. It actually looks like it's flapping its wings. Someone tried it and it's fucking amazing. The animation is not breaking; it actually is like flying, which is kind of cool. Um, it's small as well. I expected it to be bigger.
Yep, that was one of the things that surprised me about it. Was with it having to be a personnel carrier. Clearly, this is a short range personnel
Oh,
because
absolutely. Not only because of how small it is, but also, I mean, the interior.
yeah,
How long can you stay there, being hooked on that thing before going crazy?
No amenities in it either. So
nothing. Impressive technology though. You can open the door. You still have it's like the entire ship is an airlock basically. But yeah, I mean, you know how I am. I like living quarters and stuff like that. So I think it's a great ship, perfect for its use, which it doesn't really have currently. I mean, I guess escape from prison maybe, but you know, I mean, it can be used technically, but honestly, I'd rather have Valkyrie than this, like
yeah,
100%.
yep. Rather
And
have
I can
any
have a
ship on the
car
moon.
in it, you know, like or something, and then I just yeah,
I would pick a Carrack over a Prowler,
I wouldn't.
and that's
I I pick Aurora over Carrack and Prowler. I'm sorry, these are just not my ships. I don't know. But the next ship that comes out, unless there's one ship that is leaked, I don't want to talk about this. But the next ship that we know that is coming out, I'm gonna be all over that. I can't fucking the Mercury Star Runner. Oh baby, finally a ship that I'm excited about that is new. That is super cool.
you want to touch
Enough news,
on
bro.
upcoming what?
Enough news. That's it.
Uh, well, we have just tiny items. So
Oh yeah,
in the coming future, near future, Theaters of War is coming out,
yeah,
and
that just came out.
there will be a free flight event going on. Um,
First
so
one
during that
that we
time,
experienced.
Chad and I've already discussed that we're going to try and do some community interaction events, helping each other out. If there's people that have been interested in checking out Star Citizen, but you're afraid to get in there because there is a lot to it, we're gonna probably be sitting around on the Discord quite a bit during the free event
Yeah.
and helping folks out, getting into testing things out.
Same with Theaters of War when it comes out. So Theaters of War, for those who already play and don't know what it is, or those who never seen any of the modes, Star Citizen has right now it has two battlegrounds that are not in the public universe. So it's like mini games. Uh, one is for first person shooter, like first person shooter mode, and the other one is ships flying around in like a kind of like a space box where you can like just fight each other or NPCs. And Theaters of War is another one that is coming that I'm super excited about. That's a Battlefield kind of. It's like a game within the game, and I'm down to. I think we can organize our communities and like jump into into matches, you know, and play together. It's a great one because just like in like Battlefield, for example, you run in with set of weapons, but then I think it's like Planet Side 2 as well that we played recently and stuff like that. Like you will be able to pick up ships or vehicles or hop into turrets that you don't have on your account. So they will be around the battlefield where you can like pick up F7, you know, and take off and go and fight whatever other team has and whatnot. So yeah, one thing that I will mention, um, you can if you're interested in trying Star Citizen, but you don't want to pay for it until you try, or you know, you want to figure it out. You can right now. You will certainly need an account. So right now you can go to RSI Rover Space Industries website, set up your account, use the code. So if you don't have a friend who already plays, there's Orchid's code right under on YouTube on our YouTube page. Please, because it's very simple. You get something. You get 5,000 Alpha UC, which is not a crazy amount, but it's good to start with. It's better than nothing. And if you use a code, that person after only 10 referrals, they can get a $90 lifetime insurance, beautiful ship, Gladius, that they can turn into something bigger later on and whatnot. It's pure value. Uh, Whoever is not using a code, it's just a waste. Like it's really sad if you start your account and you're not using code. And one thing is important now with the free flight. If you make your account now and you use your code now and you buy a game 3 years later, the code is still valid. that person will get their referral, you will get your money, and everyone's happy. So yeah,
it makes more sense to use it than to not use it.
exactly.
Both people benefit in the long run if you end up getting it, so why not? All right, I think that wraps up our news.
And now the sad part.
Now we have to get off our optimistic train and head into pessimistic.
So before we do that, it's a great patch, and
yes,
it has a lot of potential.
very
A
exciting.
lot of potential.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I am very excited about this patch, no matter how many bugs there are right now.
Same.
And I got to the point today where I rage quit because I was getting so frustrated. It's gonna happen, I know it, but I'm still very looking forward to playing in this 3.9 patch. It's gonna be interesting to see how things are worked out and where it goes. So with that, let's talk bugs and exploits right now. So first thing on the list, the new item inventory is somewhat bugged. We've been noticing that if you put food and drinks inside your inventory to stow away, there were some issues where they would just disappear, or when you tried to take them out, they would either disappear or drop to the floor and disappear, or whatever. So you wouldn't have those items. I successfully put something in my inventory. Went into my inventory and chose the carry option, and then it ended up in my hand after I moved around a little bit, and I was able to drink it, and it actually worked. Oh, Chegg, you had some issues with the inventory. After they did the mini patch, is it working better for you now?
No.
Oh, okay.
So I can't use that. I have to go to the I inventory, right? Not, yeah, well, that's the same one, I guess. And then I have to drop the item on the floor. And when I drop it on the floor, I have like 50% chance to see that item on the floor and then pick it up from the floor. On my ships, 100% of items will drop through the floor. And we had a situation where someone needed water when we were playing together, and I tried to give them my last bottle of water, and it fell through the floor on one of the missions. And yeah, I mean, they decided to Sudoku and resurrect on Cutlass Red, but it would be so nice. Like, these things can create such amazing immersive gameplay where you know, it was 5 of us doing some missions, and one of us was like, okay, I'm running out of water, man. And I'm like, I have a bottle, man. We can share. You know, it's so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't work out. However, again, in future, this will be great as soon as it starts working. So yeah.
One of the issues that I've run into a lot more than Chegg has is the clipping that's happening, where your character all of a sudden getting out of the pilot seat starts stuttering around, and then as you try to move around, you end up clipping through objects, so you can clip through walls and ships. And I've been doing a lot of testing trying to figure out what's causing this, and that's what got me so frustrated earlier. Was I started out today very, very optimistically, thinking, okay, I'm gonna just do deliveries and see what's going on, because this is where I notice it the most. We had, a few days where we were testing out things, and I never ran into the bug. But when I started doing delivery missions, that's when I was noticing it more and more.
And I think it's only I thought it's only the new delivery missions.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem to be isolated to just one thing. But we're finding
I think
out.
it's the ships, because so we're going to talk about, because we were doing a lot of these new things and we're going to talk about it. But when that started happening to you, I started testing myself because it was not happening to me. So to put it in like perspective, right now you were flying Cutlass Black and I was flying Freelancer Dur. We were doing the same thing, and for some reason Orchid started clipping. In order to save his time, I tried flying towards him with my Cutlass Black, landed on the same roof, and the moment I entered your ship, I started clipping the same way you did.
Right.
So then it was really strange to me because I had no issues, and I actually suggested this game loop because it was very enjoyable. And then you start playing it, and it's all the entire world goes like crazy. And so I tried doing it in Cutlass Black, and I got clipped as well. Then I tried with another ship. I tried with Sen, with the Reliant Sen, and I got clipped mid like jump the same way. Then I tried with Freelancer there again, and I had no issues. Then I tried with Freelancer there again the day after, no issues. And then today I tried with 315p, and it worked. So I think certain ships. Oh, I tried with Aurora as well, and I clipped through as well. So I think certain ships, and we are kind of working it. We're going to try with as many ships we can, and then report. But certain ships have issues with clipping if you're doing specific set of missions, which are amazing. We're going to talk about it later, but yeah, we don't have a solution. Like simply, if you have one of those ships, it's not going to work.
And I gotten to the point where I was testing exclusively this morning with the Cuddy Black, seeing if I can get it successful. Never got a successful delivery. The only after I got frustrated with that, I ended up logging off, melting the Cuddy, going to the Pisces, and unfortunately I couldn't test with that because then I had some other weird bug where I went to go pick up the package. I heard the message saying my ship was going to be stored, so I went to the console, stored my Pisces, and then recalled it on a different pad. And then when I got in and started flying away, started up Quantum, and then my ship disappeared. I don't know if it was still trying to store it when I was taking off or whatever. It wasn't giving me the audio saying the ship was being stored or anything like that, but it just despawned and I was left floating in space. So I just gave up on it in the morning and figured let's just record. So
That store is really good. So right now there's a new option where
yeah,
you can store your ship when you land. However, it doesn't work every time for me. Like it doesn't exist. Like sometimes I have an option to store. Sometimes I just have the option to claim, and I see the ship on the pad like there on the MFD or ASOP, sorry. Uh, and instead of saying store, it still says claim. It's I think that's all that whole system. It's really good, but they need to work on it.
yeah,
Really.
I haven't really messed with that too much, so I don't. I've stored maybe my ship twice now, and that's about it. But I haven't really played with that, so I'll keep an eye on that as well. Another issue I ran into, which is kind of an
This one is good.
exploit, was I was flying in my Constellation Phoenix Emerald, little flex there, and
No, 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 no. It was a killer. It was a killer.
no, I was in my Emerald. I was in my Emerald flying from
Are you sure?
from PO to Microtech.
Because it was Bolon in it, and Aquila comes with Bolon. And you said, "Wait, I have Bol." I was like, "Which? What do you have in Aquila?" You said Bolon, and I was like, "Oh my god!" 10 years later, because you're flying from Port Olisar to that's the like to Microtech, which is the furthest thing away, right?
Yeah.
And literally it goes from like 18 minutes to 4 minutes, depending on the drive that you have, right?
Right.
And you told me you have Bolon, and I was like, "Oh no."
I think I was just reading off the options, but I know I was in my Emerald.
Oh, maybe okay.
Because that you'll remember in a second how we know it was the Emerald because okay, so I was flying along and in Quantum, and I went into my my equipment manager for
Chip.
my ship,
Yeah, man.
and I switched from the existing jump drive to the
XL1.
crossfield to the crossfield
XL1. Okay.
crossfield, and it took me out of the jump, but still equipped the item, and then I could start the jump back up again. I lost my jump UI, so it wouldn't show me spooling or configuring. But I could hear the audio cues for it, and it would let me continue the jump. So a little bit of an exploit, a little bit of a bug right now.
And we checked, like it had the red like
I
sign that you can't use it.
I did more testing on that, and that's what I forgot to tell you earlier was when you default open your fleet manager, it defaults to the ship you're in,
You're in. Yes.
and it allows
True.
you to change those components. If you
Oh,
select from the drop down and select that ship, it is locked out. You can't change anything.
okay.
So that's the main difference. If you don't
This needs
select the
to go to
ship,
a council issue.
yeah. So we'll report that one and let them know what's going on.
So wait. So that means
So
that you can fight someone, and when your shields are low, just swap to another shield. What?
yeah, basically,
Shit.
the guns you have aren't quite cutting it. Switch to the other
Yeah.
guns while you're
Switch to your guns.
mid-flight. But no, the reason why I know it was the Constellation, or the Phoenix Emerald is because when I completed my jump, I was trying to recover the items from my Cuddy Black on the rooftop, and when I went into the Cuddy Black, it started doing the clipping issue, and when I got out of the Cuddy Black and started going towards my Phoenix Emerald, the Emerald started flipping out, twisting end over end, and then just flew off the landing pad, off the building, and exploded on the ground in a great ball of fire.
And you were streaming that. That was fun.
Yeah, it was awesome. So that's how I know that was the Phoenix Emerald. Um, so you want to touch on this next issue because this happened to you. It did happen to me, but I don't know how it happened. So.
That's so we got to 3.9, and it's again. I just don't understand when CAG does this. Like they said, they're wiping it. Like it was in the patch notes, they're wiping it.
So 3.9 did not get the wipe. It was the mini patch right after.
No.
That they said they were wiping.
3.9 patch notes said persistence yes, wipe yes. It's like they're wiping, but like persistence will stay true. I guess I don't know. It's really confusing. And then I don't know if you remember on Discord, we were all talking like Rev and Rasky were like, there you go, they're wiping, you wanted, and I was like, fuck yeah, because my account was all bugged and all that. So but they did not wipe. So we had money. My money carried over. I had like I don't know. It doesn't matter. Like 60, 70,000 Alpha UC, not much. And my Retaliator was there, and my X85 that I bought in game and all that. So there was no wipe. And then there was a mini patch, but I did not get that wipe. Okay, so I was doing missions, and I brought, I don't know, let's say 8 boxes to New Babbage to deliver. And I delivered every one of them. And whenever I would deliver, the pop-up would tell me that I am getting 8,000 Alpha UC, 8,010 Alpha UC. But then I've checked my balance, and I'm like, wait a minute, I've delivered 5. That's 40,000. I'm still at the same amount. So I delivered the next one. It says 8,010 Alpha UC added to your account, and I'm still on this. Okay, so it's not happening. I delivered all of them, whatever, because I'm already there. And I logged out. And logged back in 10,000 Alpha ABC. Like, what? So there was some issue with my account not being able to generate money. And then when I just logged out and logged back in, and everything was gone. My balance was reset, but I still had like 48 lumen guns, which is like everything I bought from the beginning of times, like 5 armors, whatever, everything, all my ships, components, everything was there, but the money was wiped. And then the day after, they did a mini patch, and some of the people lost their money that day as well. And they said that there was an official statement in that mini patch where they're literally telling you, don't grind money. We might have to reset your balance, your balance during this patch, because we're experiencing some issues and trying to track down the problem. So it's a fair warning from them, and our warning to you: don't, like, sure, play, make money, but make sure that you understand that you don't want to grind like crazy until they say, okay, we're fine, because you might just wake up.
Well,
Person from my chat lost 1.4 million to date.
And that's
so
what
it's still
happened with
happening.
me. Was I was too busy, telling Chig, sucks to be you that you lost your money, but I still got mine. And not during the 3.9 and not during the mini patch did I lose my money, but one day I logged on and I was at 10,000. It was so
Yeah.
random. So it'll happen at some point, most likely, or it might not. So who knows? Who knows the
Yeah.
workings behind that?
I,
But
I think, and they asked us not to reset our accounts
right,
manually.
right.
If you really, really have to, yes, but otherwise, please don't. So if you're making money or you have money right now, buy something. Buy yourself a ship, buy armor, guns, whatever, because these things are not disappearing. That stays. It's only the money that disappears. And we actually talked about this, me and Orchid, like privately, where we agreed that, you know what, if they made this reset every time but keep your ships, that would be okay as well.
Yep.
Because you would know when the patch is coming, you buy whatever. If you made it, you made it. You buy yourself a ship, and then next patch you can play with your new ship. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
it's that's fine. It's fine
That,
with me.
and I think that's what a lot of people are saying right now on Spectrum. When I saw is a lot of the comments said, "Just go ahead and wipe us. You know it's alpha, persistence
Oh yeah.
has issues still. Just go ahead and wipe us. Wipe everything out." And like we were saying in our conversation, if all I kept was my ships, I'd still be fine because I can go back and set a goal that I want to buy this ship next and keep working towards that with my money, or at least I can go play with those ships that I've earned. I don't think buying gear, buying components, anything like that, I don't think that's such a big deal. I can make that money. I think the only thing that would frustrate me is if I lost those ships. But at the same time, if I did, I would have
I mean, we
something to
can
work towards
expect that.
again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. True. True. True.
yeah. Uh, you go ahead and touch on where
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
torps.
So yeah. So this was a big bummer for me because I have a retaliator, and I for the two patches now I wanted to try the Eclipse. These are both torpedo bombers. I think both of us really enjoyed playing them. Well, Retaliator, which we bought in game, and this patch I started with Retaliator, wanted to kill someone for 20,000 Alpha UC because the player bounties are through the roof now, and yeah, torpedoes just turn off after 1,000 meters. Um, and Tali is very slow and very big.
Which, and it doesn't make sense to me because when I think of a torpedo, that seems to me more like a
No, no, it's a
long
bug.
range.
It's a known
Yeah.
bug. It's a known bug. So
Okay.
this was a bug that they had, and it was in alpha, and then in patch notes it said that they fixed it, but it's not working. They didn't fix it.
Right.
Um, so these are like my 4 million alpha UC ship is useless, except for it has crossfade by default, so I use that on my other ships. And my goal for this patch was Eclipse, and now I'm like, I don't know,
Well,
maybe not.
we'll see. Maybe we'll still work at it. We'll see. Maybe things will
Yeah,
get a little bit more stable. Maybe 3.9,
sure.
391.
Yeah, well, they
Um,
will work from that.
the next couple items I'll go ahead and hit on. Refueling has gotten a lot better. I'll say that. Refuel, repair, landing on pads works most of the time, but it's not 100% guaranteed. We're still seeing the crossed out red items when you land in certain places. There's no rhyme or reason. Not specific places that do that. It's just you randomly get these times where it won't let you rearm or read. There's also something weird that I don't know if maybe just me and Chegg are experiencing or if it's actually a real thing, but New Babbage doesn't let you rearm or refuel there.
I
Um,
tried everything. I tried spawning,
I did too.
respawning ship and everything, landing on it.
And it wasn't until you mentioned it to me that I just realized too that you know what, when I did the jumps to Microtech, I remember seeing it and figured, well, I'll just go up to the station, and I didn't think anything of it. I just figured it was part of the old known issues
Mm,
with pads and hangers. But
maybe they just did not add like these services to New Babbage, which is understandable. I mean, I don't know.
Find out. You want to hit the next couple ones and then.
Yeah, so the HUD on the ships is, for me at least, is bugged a lot. Like the information that you're getting when you're dogfighting, and just before this recording, I was playing Arena Commander, Vandal, Swarm, or whatever it's called, and so in a Gladius, and what happens is whenever someone fires a rocket or missile, any kind of missile or torpedo towards you, you get the little notification, right? And the good news is the countermeasures seem to be working. I was hit only once. So the countermeasures seem to be working unlike before. However, the notifications keep stacking. So I ended up like with 48 missile warnings at the end of that gameplay, because it does not clear. So let's say you get targeted by a missile, it fires away, you use your countermeasure, it either hits you or misses you, and then usually it clears. And I've noticed this before on other ships as well. So for me, I don't know if everyone has this, but for me, they just keep stacking up. And if you turn off your ship and turn on, it doesn't clear. It stays true. And then what I figured out helps is leaving your pilot seat and getting in. It clears it from like the HUD, but your little like actual like lights on the ship, I still have locked, and I still have like missile warning. So yeah, there's something wrong with it. Like it just memorizes whatever targeted you and what was fired at you. So it's not a big deal really. You still get the new one and the sound effect. But yeah, I mean it's just happening. It's kind of scary. Like when you look at the 48 missiles, okay, I'm fucked. You know, like I don't know. But it's not a big deal really. But yeah, it's happening.
Yep.
What's this last one that we have?
The you were talking about before we started that when you go into your equipment or your ship menu.
Oh, it's my bug.
It's not popping up. I haven't seen this yet, so.
Yeah, so just simply when you go to, while you're in the ship or away, it doesn't really matter, and you press F1 for your Mobiglass and you go to your little like character or ship loadout. Sometimes I don't get any tabs, like nothing happens, just blank. And I can click on the map or missions, or everything else works, but like loadout doesn't work, doesn't load, and either for my character or for my ship. So I don't know. It might be I might have to like remove what's the name, user folder again or something. I don't know, but yeah, that's happening to me. Even though I removed it when we patched it 2 more times.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. If that does it for bugs and exploits, we know there's a lot more out there. We're still going to be doing a lot of testing for it, but giving you a little heads up on some of those things that really stood out.
And also, if you have some crazy ones that are like strange or funny, throw it in the comments.
Yes.
So we can touch on that next time, and yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Next up, we're gonna do our Star Citizen showcase, and Cheg's gonna take it away with delivery mission.
There is one goal basically in Star Citizen right now, and that's making money. I think that's the gameplay. Now, there's multiple ways of making money, but the only thing that you can look forward to and set as goal is making money and eventually maybe buying a ship or just piling up money as a dragon, like laying on it. And whenever a new patch comes out, we try most of the things to see how are things working. Last few patches, we were much into hauling, trading, and whatnot. But for a long time now, what? For a long time now, since the beginning of times, we started playing. I was in love with delivery missions, and on my channel there was a moment where one of my viewers literally made a logo for Chegex delivery because I was just doing that like crazy, and then I would find ships that are definitely not meant for that, like Reliance Sand, and I would, with my OCD, I would like pack up every box on one and the other bed, and like just everything was neat, and then I would fly from planet to planet, deliver. I was so happy with that. But then at some point I stopped doing it. I don't know. It became. I made 1 million doing it. That was my goal. Then I made like 250,000 doing it in Aurora, and I was testing it and blah blah blah. And then this patch, I go through the deliveries and I'm like, these are new. These are new FTL deliveries. I know they're new because there's a new price. So until now we had little deliveries in the same system that are not really good. Like you made like 1,500 or something. And then you had Kovalex deliveries, which were the best deliveries for sure, because you collect a bunch of them in one system, flying from place to place, pick them all up, and then go to another system, another planet, and then you drop them on those moons. So it was like it was really good time wise, and you could do like 10 missions at the same time. Each one is 6,000, and you can still do this. And so you make like 60,000. It's really good and fun, and you don't have anything to lose basically. And then you had the old FTL missions, which are still there, which are 9,000 almost, like 8,900 something. These are different. You would do one or two at a time. You pick it up in one system, go to another system, drop it there, and then pick one there. And so these you could not like connect the same way, but they were more money. It made sense. Now the new missions are really, really good. The new ones are 8,010 Alpha UEC, which in my honest opinion is way too much, and I'll explain why. And I think they should be around 5,000 to like be properly priced for the other, like to make sense for the other missions for other deliveries. You get these are FTL and they always cost 8,010 Alpha UEC. You collect them around outposts on around oh my god, Crusader. They can also be picked up in Port Holistar sometimes and CRU and other RNRs. Sometimes when you pick up one in the outpost, let's say Trem and Myers, pull up your mission list, another one might appear right there. It happened to me that I picked up 5 boxes in the same outpost, one after another, and just filled up the entire ship with them. And the great thing is you deliver everything in new Babbage, almost everything. You had one that was different, right? It was still in Microtech, but like some other.
Yeah,
It
it
was
took
either
me
on
to
the
one of
moon
the
or
moons.
yeah. But like 90% of these will be in new Babbage, and this is absolutely great. The first one I did, I took only one. I came to New Babbage. You don't know about this. I came to New Babbage, and I know how the deliveries work, right? So so I landed on the pad, took my box, went to the fucking train, make it to the commons, and I was like, what? It's like somewhere high in the air, 25 kilometers,
Oh,
and I'm like, this is bugged. All right, and I never played it until like yesterday again. And then yesterday I was like, wait a minute, there's like 20 of these and they all end up in new Babbage. I'm just gonna try again. So I filled up my ship. I had I think 8 missions. Each one is 8,000, and you fly to New Babbage, and then each building in New Babbage has a landing pad and a little there's a door, the elevator door, and at the entrance there's a little machine, just like a Colex one, but these ones are FTLs. It doesn't matter where you drop off your drop off a place. And I don't know, but this is the best game loop right now for me. I'm really enjoying it, and it's very lucrative. So you land on one building, jump out, drop your box, get 8,000, get back into your ship, select the next one. You fly like 5 kilometers to the next building roof, drop off the next one, and it gives you that super cool feeling of you've invested time in collecting all these boxes, and then in quick succession, you get 8,000 by 8,000 in like, I don't know, like 10 minutes, you pile up 80K, for example. Um, it's very there's no investment. I would suggest doing this on a medium or large ship, just because you can have a really fast quantum drive, because you have to jump from from Crusader to Microtech, which is 58 million kilometers. So if you have a really slow jump drive, most of the small ships, like size 1 jump drives, will not even make it. You would need a really slow ones like EOS or Atlas, for example. And then when we go with like size 2, Crossfade and XL1 will make it there in 4 minutes, which is amazing. But like Bolon will take 18 minutes. So it maybe doesn't sound that crazy, but that's 20 minutes of your ship being in a fucking jump where you can't do anything. So, but even with that, I mean, it's still very lucrative. But keep in mind, it might 30K or or whatever. So I suggest something like a freelancer. Maybe everyone has one. And for what? How much is it? Like 40,000-50,000 is Crossfade in jump drive in Port Olisar. I think it's around that. Just install that and just start printing money. Now, I really think this is important because it's a really good way of making money and it's very enjoyable and it's not very stressful. However, this is what we were talking about before, and here we can like brainstorm it. Some ships for these new missions, I think the problem is with the new Babbage roofs. And I did some test. We both tested this, and we are trying to figure out which ships are working, which are not. And I can tell you right now, so freelancers are working, 300 series are working, freelancers are working. We can tell you what certainly doesn't work. So Aurora doesn't work, unfortunately. Reliance are not doing it. Cutlass Black is a no-go. What else did we try?
Well, I'm trying the Pisces, but that's when I rage quit, so I'll find out if that works.
Yeah, so some ships work, some ships just don't work. One thing that was really strange, so each pad, there's no refuel or anything. I'll just quickly finish and then you go for it. So when Orchid had the situation with his first Cutlass Black being stuck there and clipping and everything, I landed my Cutlass Black next to his, and we were both clipping. And then I used backspace and spawned back in Microtech, and I wanted to claim my ship in the in whatever the spaceport, and it said that my Cutlass Black is on pad 1. It was on pad 1, and I went to the actual pad 1. There was nothing, but it was still there on the roof. And I think that's where the issue is. Some ships are somehow connected with this pad 1, and being probably like 10,000 ships like across all servers are on the same. I don't know, something like that happens. So you gotta have that in. But there it is. Like, that's the idea of how you can make money, and it's very, very enjoyable when it works. I promise. Yeah, you were about to say something.
So I forgot, but when I was doing my testing, I'm pretty sure the Constellation series works because I did take the Phoenix Emerald out again and put all my packages in the cargo bay that goes up and down.
Yeah,
I put them on that ramp, and all of the boxes worked fine going up and coming back down. I mean, they jumped around a little bit, but that was fine. But they did work, and I was able to successfully drop off those packages. However, that's when one of the 30Ks hit me. Was I dropped off one for sure, and I think when I was flying to go drop off the next one, that's when the 30K hit me.
so probably Constellation works as well.
Yeah, I'll do some more testing with that as well. Let's see.
I'm done.
Okay.
With that.
Let's get into what we did in Star Citizen, which we covered quite a bit of it, but one very exciting thing happened for me. My son is now playing Star Citizen with us. So I made a deal with him. My wife really wanted to dye his hair red. We all decided. I'm not ignoring what's going on right here. But we all decided to get a little crazy during our getting a little crazy with our hair. So my son didn't want to dye his hair. So I told him, listen, if you let your mother dye your hair, I will buy you a starter package for Star Citizen. So he did it, and I did it. And then I found out that apparently, in order for someone to count as a recruit for you, after they use their code, they have to spend $40 of their own money on their account.
That account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We did not know that.
I went ahead and I told him, you know what, I do want to get my first recruit, my first referral.
Referral. Yeah.
So I upgraded his account, or his what did we get him? The Aurora.
I think. Oh yeah, it was Aurora.
We got him the Aurora, then we melted it, put it onto the Mustang to get that extra $5 credit, and then upgraded him to the Cutlass Black. And it just so happens the day that I got the response from CIG was the day that 3.9 dropped, and I got credit for the 3.9 incentive, so we should both get buggies, I think. I got mine.
Oh yeah,
We have to double check his, because it does say on the thing that the recruit and the recruit and the recruiter should both get the incentive. So I'll double check with his account and see.
Which we did not mention in the news, but that's kind of cool. If
Yeah.
you join now, both you and whoever code you used will get the best vehicle, ground vehicle in the game. My favorite golf cart.
Yes.
Gray Cat buggy. It's absolutely amazing.
Those things are so much fun to drive around.
I love them. And the sound, oh my god.
You made the mention before that there's some type of Mario Kart style Gray Cat buggy thing that people are doing.
On Reddit, someone is making someone is asking CIG to make the track for the buggies.
And
yes!
we did this on Port Olisar. We took out a Gray Cat buggy and decided to just start driving around on the pads and stuff. So
we gotta do bumper buggy challenges, and because they are actually, unlike cyclones that are almost indestructible, Gray Cat buggy can lose wheels, it can explode. Yeah. We need to do a brawl with them somewhere.
Sounds like a community event we should plan out.
Yes.
So
we're welcoming Goob to IPE, which is our organization, and Universe.
And to the Burst, yep.
We had so much fun playing with him and a few other IPE members.
Yeah. We decided to jump in and do some stress testing on this 3.9. So we took out some ships and did some CS 3s and 4s. We successfully took over a Warhammer, or not Warhammer.
Yeah,
Hammerhead. Hammerhead.
Oh yeah.
That's the second time I call it a Warhammer. Hammerhead.
It's a Warhammer.
With the NPCs, and it was just melting everything, which was awesome. I love it. I'm really glad that didn't get nerfed. We did the 890 jump missions, which worked very well.
I gotta disappoint you, man.
No, don't do that. This is. Oh yeah, that's right.
This was the day before. It was great though. You used your Warlock to disable Hammerhead, and then we were doing some claim jumpers with it. It was absolutely amazing. We did like multiple 4 and then 5 of us. We were doing multiple 890 jump missions where we finally started doing the. You figured out the hacking thing.
Yeah, that was
so we're making more money. Yeah, it was such a good day.
We never figured out how, like, in the beginning of the mission it says you have to stop the transmission of whatever.
Some data.
We never knew how you did that, and then finally, I think you saw the device that you're supposed to find, but we always thought it was always in the same spot, and that thing
I did it once by accident long ago, and I'm like, I know it can be done, but
yeah, because you kept telling us, "Well, go to the bridge. It's up on the bridge."
That was when I saw it first time.
Yeah, but we found that thing can actually jump into different areas of the ship.
Spawns.
So we finally figured out how to do that. We cut off the transmission, killed all the people. There was the one mission where we couldn't get into the ship storage area of the 890 jump.
Oh, the elevators and doors were blocked.
Yeah, so I took my ship out, I fired at the door, it opened up, and we finally finished the mission. But you can't get into that 300i, which is kind of disappointing now.
No, you can if you hack the thing. If you hack the thing, we can. Goop took it once.
Oh, that's right. But it was bugged the one time, too. We hacked
Maybe, I
it,
don't
and
know.
then it wouldn't let us get on
Yeah,
board. So
but that's the same time when the doors were bugged. So I think that one was
yeah,
like,
yeah, that was probably the whole thing was bugged out. Um, and then my son successfully crashed all three of us while we were trying to play around. Not quite sure what caused it. This was still in 3.8.2. He was borrowing Cheg's vehicle, and every time he would go to spool up, he's like, "It's crashing for me every time I try to spool up." So Chegg went over. He was checking out the ship, playing around with it, worked fine. Got out, went back to his ship, and then Goob got back into the ship and tried to spool up, and it crashed both of them. And then I showed up and I did the same thing. I tried to test out the ship. It worked fine for me. I got out, and then he got in and spooled up and crashed all three of us. So
and we called it after that.
yeah, no
I
idea
think it
what
was
was
because we were
causing
using
it.
my ship or something.
Yeah,
And
we didn't know
there
what
was
was
another
causing it.
funny bug though. I don't know if you remember. At some point, you had Retaliator
Yes.
on your account, which you don't have.
Yeah, when I went into my ship components, it showed I
Oh
had
yeah.
I was gonna take it out of my Phoenix Emerald because I just purchased one, but I noticed I had two available, so I clicked on it to take it out of the Connie or the Phoenix, and saw there was one available from a Retaliator, which I don't own one at all. I've flown Chegs many times, so I figure there's some kind of weird bug where it registered under my account. So I took the one out of the Retaliator, put it into my Cutlass Black, and then it worked fine ever since then.
But this is
So
all 3.8, and I had a lot of issues with quantum jumps in 3.8 where it would just disappear from not only Tali but like many ships. I would log on and there's nothing in it. But that was a good day, and I'm glad that he's with us playing now. That's really cool.
yeah, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. He's still more of a shooter game type person, so we'll see
He
him every
needs
once in a
to.
while.
We need him for like FPS stuff because he's really good. He's playing Valorant and CS:GO and whatnot.
Yeah.
He's really good at that. So
Oh, and that reminds me, we did test. So the 890 jump was working fine, but we did test going to
the bunker
Korea.
missions. Oh, Korea was not working.
Korea
Bunker missions
wasn't
were
working,
working.
but the bunker missions were. So
Yeah,
hit or
but
miss.
still 3.8. We don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
We got to do this again with Goob
yeah.
one day
We'll do more
and test
testing
it
in
out.
3.9 now.
Yeah.
Another item, one that happened to me was I was having issues getting from Loreville to the Everest Harbor. Um, so since for whatever reason it wouldn't let me jump to Everest Harbor and I knew it was going to be a long flight, I went ahead and just set myself up on autopilot, let it coast up there, and I walked away. I went to go get, I think, a drink or a snack or something like that. Uh, it was like 5 minutes, maybe close to 10. Came back and found that I was in an interdiction. Security forces were trying to stop my vehicle, and I got the crime stat 1 for failure to stop for security. So I figured, well, I'm just gonna let it wipe it out, so I'll let them kill me. Um, the security force killed me, and then I ended up in prison. And I was like, wait, I gotta go do something else for work now. So I kind of went AFK again, came back. I'm like, okay, I'm in prison. I might as well try the gameplay. I don't even think I was gone that long. I swear to you, it had to be less than 5 minutes. Uh, but I went in, I enrolled in the work system, and then I went outside of the habitat area. Went to go see how much I needed to mine, and it said you're eligible for release. So
That was the smallest one. But you're actually lucky that you let them kill you because if you escape, so guys, interdiction is back. That was supposed to be news, I guess, as well. It's not very often, but it happens. If you escape interdiction, 20,000 alpha UEC is the how do you say that? You have to pay
fine.
the fine. Yeah, 20,000 alpha UEC.
You just reminded me. I've never gone to the
You did not even
security
check.
console to see if I have fines.
But I think because they killed you, you served your time in prison. I think you're okay. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah,
I'll
if you
double check
escape,
that.
yeah. So drugs, good luck with that.
Yeah.
20K is a lot. Yeah.
You want to hit the last couple items on
Prisoner.
our what we did?
Sure. So yeah, but the next one, we were playing a lot of, as you know already, we were talking about it. We were playing a lot of mission deliveries because it's a new game loop that no one was announcing, so it's kind of cool. We figured it out. But then, what was really funny, until Orchid killed me, we were testing. We were preparing somewhat softly for Daimar Rally.
Not my fault.
Yeah.
And Rev will admit to it. It was all his fault. Yeah. We
And you
were
crashed
doing
my
fine
ship
until
multiple
Rev
times.
came in and said, "Hey, try this."
That was a lot of fun. So we decided to go from I don't know, Shubin on Daymar to Wolf Point or whatever, literally the entire Daymar Rally route, and see how far we get. We knew we were not gonna make it all the way. It's like 500 kilometers or whatever. I don't know, 370 or something. And but we swapped at some point. I was at the beginning, you were driving, and I was a navigator. Not gonna lie, guys, that we were part of some of the events that we talked about in last podcast, and this is literally what kind of pushed us toward thinking more heavily about Daimar Rally. We really enjoyed those racing events, and yeah, inspired by that, we were trying it out. I was a navigator for, I don't know, like 100 and, I don't know, 50 kilometers or something, and then we swapped because it gets kind of boring. It's the freaking desert, and and then we swapped it. But we had a lot of fun. I mean, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I flipped in the end, and you tried to turn
Yeah.
my cyclone around, but then our air vehicle was my freelancer Dur, which is not really good to turn things around on the ground. She's thick, and then yeah, Rev said try landing gear. Don't touch ground vehicles with landing gear. They go boom.
Insta explosion.
If you want to see that, there is a clip of that on my Twitch channel. You can find it like in the last week or whatever. It's funny.
It looked like it was about to work because there's a little lip on that front landing gear, and I was trying to get that hooked onto it to kind of push it over
Flip it
and
over.
get it
Yeah.
upright. But when it started pushing it up, then somehow the car started getting pushed down, and then it just exploded.
Probably because you're so both of us are focused. Like I'm like trying to figure out if it's gonna work from my point of view, and you're like, because freelancer is massive compared to a tiny cyclone, and he's like trying to slowly just touch it, and then immediate explosion on contact. We started laughing like little kids, like, man, what the hell, It was a good one. I liked it, but we're gonna look into it and dig, and IP should be part of the Rally. I will add something here. We were supposed to do this later, but Meyer, who I'm sure a lot of you know, he's one of the big and great streamers of Star Citizen, and also had a great podcast with Daria Niter, Fortnightly Frontier, which, by the way, finally happened after like a month. Fortnightly, my butt.
Speaking of butts,
So he was on the last time rally. He was part of VIP crew, role play crew on that 890 jump, and he will be guest of our next special next week. I'm super excited. I am on another project with Meyer, Saga of Leukemia, another game that is in development, completely different than this. It's an MMO, but it's completely different. And whenever I had the chance to play with Meyer, or watch him or listen to him. It's just a blast. I'm super excited to have him here and yeah, here. Like, thank you, Mario, for accepting our call.
No.
But also we can pick his brain a little bit about Damarel because he was in it last year, and we're both excited about getting in there ourselves.
Right.
So, but there's contenders, not RP, no RP here. We're we're there to win. Probably another butt, but we'll see.
Yeah. I loved watching that episode, and the whole beginning of it is talking about butts, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I can get into this podcast. It was a great episode. I enjoyed listening to their podcast.
Oh, I love Fortnightly Frontier.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yeah, it was really good.
I just wish it was
Darienator.
Darienator. All right.
Suggestions.
Dude, we're getting slowly to we're getting to the end slowly. There's one more thing that we want to touch on, and that's it.
Suggestions for the developers.
You want to go for the first one? Because I think we both agree about the first one.
Yeah. So we were talking about the friends list. Absolutely love the new changes to it. It looks great.
Yes.
It's really nice. We're exploring some of the different bugs and trying to figure out what works, what doesn't, some of the different experiences of it. However, one suggestion: can we take our friends out of the MFDs of our ships, please? One of the biggest things that both Chegg and I experience and absolutely hate is when you have too many friends on your list and you need to go for a landing spot, you have to scroll all the way down on that list sometimes to find the landing services and be able to request a hangar. I don't understand why I need my friends on that list. I'd rather that just be either group members or just limit it to the hailing
like
channels.
Target hailing,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
the stations hailing and stuff.
So that makes
also,
more sense.
The new thing is we can have up to 800 friends, which is great. But
I'm not going to scroll through that list.
Scroll through 800 people
Yeah.
to get the fucking permission to land. Come on, man.
And it's not 100% when those landing services pop to the top. Actually, I don't think I've ever had it pop to the top. So
I think it depends on the name of the station or whatever. It's rent. I don't know.
I honestly think it's in order of your friends,
like
and then the station's the last item.
But then also you get there like NPCs that if you target someone while you're approaching, you get them, and
which they pop up to the top almost.
And then if you're using mouse and keyboard and you I hold F, and I hate going into my Mobiglass to get to hail landing services. So if you scroll down on your mouse, it takes you down. But if you missed it and you have to scroll up, it zooms in.
Yep.
It's so annoying.
It's pretty annoying. So I don't know. I'm sure that's not something that's easy to fix, but I don't understand why we would have it on there. I'd rather have my ship functions tied to actually functioning my ship. I'm not going to hail my friends from my MFD. I know that eventually we want to make those MFDs fully functional and operate everything through it, but I mean, I don't think it needs to be in there. I don't think friends list needs to be part of the MFD.
My suggestion would be we have hailing icon, and then we can have contacts icon, maybe, or just separate that. Or I would be okay with removing it from MFD. But if for some reason they know we might need it or they want it there, let's just try and separate that, because makes no sense. Maybe it's in their plans already. I don't know, but
even if the landing service, the one thing that would make me so much happier is if the landing service popped to the top of that list, and then I know the first item is going to be able to hail and get my landing
I
spot,
agree, but I really don't need that kind of friends on my MFD.
Right.
I'm sorry, I don't need that. The other one. Oh, sorry.
Well, I was gonna say, kind of touching on what you said. Even if we did have all our friends on there, and wanted to hail them, and then you run into that issue where it's zooming in. Then it makes it very frustrating because then when you zoom out, then it resets that list and you have to go through and do it again. So,
and also all your offline friends are there.
Yeah.
And friends that are on other servers are there. Like, okay, if you have to have it, whoever is on our server or only in our group would be okay. But more than that is just,
Yep.
All
right, let's go to the next one. Go ahead and take that one away.
This will be a rough one, huh? So like I've said before, the main reason to play, like the main goal of playing Star Citizen right now is money. And different missions are rewarding you different amounts of money. And in my mind, I was trying to figure out the way they're deciding how this is happening, and we tried together coming to a conclusion, and there's no way this makes any sense. So the original idea that we've heard and agreed with is that CIG is trying to incentivize players to try new gaming loops that at the same time we are QA testing kind of passively, you know what I mean? And by putting more money there so that you want to go and do it. For example, Quantanium is a new mechanic and it's worth shitloads of money. I kid you not. Like, people are making millions mining Quantanium. And that's fine. That makes sense. They want to see how it explodes, whatever. So just everyone should go and mine and make loads of money or explode or whatever. And then you have these new delivery missions that also kind of make sense. I would rather have them at 5,000 instead of 8,000 because then the other missions make no sense. There's no incentive in doing them. But yeah, these are new, and here's the reason: we just did them and we discovered a bunch of bugs that are game breaking, and now we're going to report this. So that's great. CIG passively pushed us into new content that we did not even know existed, and it worked. Now, some missions are made for solo play, such as deliveries, mining. I mean, you can mine in a mall, but you can mine on your own and stuff like that. However, there are missions that are made for multi-crew. For example, 890 Jump, Price of Freedom, which is a new one, the Pacheco one. All of the CS3 and 4 PvE bounties are currently almost impossible. If you get the Caterpillar, you guys know I was talking about this. I would kill Caterpillar with the Mustang Alpha or Beta, it doesn't matter. I tried today. I can't penetrate these shields with the fully equipped Gladius, and also we cannot target components anymore. I don't know if I did not mention that, but when you were pressing 2, you would go through the components and you can target engines or whatever. So these missions are made for multi-crew, and I will start with these because these are the biggest nonsense. So if you want to do CS3 mission, Crime Stat 3 mission, you will get probably a Caterpillar, 1 or 2 Valkyries, probably 2 Cutlass Blacks, and few M50s. Obviously, this was made for 2 or 3 players to go together and kill all that. It took me 40 minutes, and then I gave up because I couldn't kill the Caterpillar. The reward for this is 2,500 Alpha UEC. 2,500 Alpha UEC, and since the Caterpillar is the final, the goal of the mission, you have to clear everything else because it's going to take forever to kill Caterpillar. You don't get bounties on other pirates. The CS4, which is the highest paid mission that you can get, which goes even crazier. There's a fucking hammerhead. There are multiple constellations. What's the name? Valkyries, M50s, Cutlass Blacks, whatever you want, you name it. An NPC can have it. They're there. 3,500 Alpha UEC, not per player. That's the reward. So if me, Orchid, and his son Guberito are going together and risk losing our ships and time and everything, we are going to get for CS4 the highest paid mission. We are going to get what 1,150-ish Alpha UC per player. Okay, it's old content. Maybe they don't care if we do that or not. Sure, fine, I agree. Let's go to the newer content. So they're pushing us to do 890 jump. That's relatively new. This mission, when you look at it, it says 11,000 Alpha UC plus bonuses. Ooh, that's money. It was made for at least 3 players. If you go, you have to clear 2 ships that are protecting the ship, and then right now 1 player can do it because the NPCs are bugged and they're hardly even shooting. But if 3 players are going that's 3,000 per player. 3,000 per player to go to a faraway system, fly with multiple ships to the 890 jump, EVA, run around the ship, try to do it. If you do the bonus mission, you get let's say you get 4,000. You can't get more than that. 1 box that I delivered to Microtech is 8,000. Okay, that's not the newest content, right? So let's go to the newest content. We just got an amazing mission that is called Price of Freedom. Twitch Pacheco gives it to you. You have to go to a caterpillar that is taking the prisoners to the Clasher prison, and you have to find a certain person there to release them. No, sorry, kill them because they were the snitch. Whatever. When you approach a ship, you have UE that is protecting the ship. If you did not look how complex this is. So you need to kill UE. If you did not disable the com array, if you disable com array, you already have a crime stat. So now I am hunting you in my retaliator. So you might just die because my torpedo will say hi. So then you kill the UE, you go into and you start looking for data that you can compare the numbers to kill the right person, because you need to kill the right person. At the same time, you're killing the guards, right? At this time, more UE will come and destroy your ship, unless you have destroyed the com array, which gave you crime stat before you even came there. Then, when you've killed this guy and you don't have a ship anymore, you can maybe steal UE ship if you're lucky, or you came there with at least 1 other person. By the way, this mission is probably designed for 3+, 1 person staying in the ship fighting off UE, 2 people killing the guards. Well, 1 probably killing the guards, the other 1 trying to find the code and executing the mission. And then after this, if you are all grouped up, you fly to Korea or somewhere where you can clear your crime stats. So you had to come prepared with the key. And then in Korea, every bounty hunter knows you're there, and you have 15,000 on each of your heads, and you have to just think about how many things you have to do, how much time you have to invest, and if someone kills you throughout all this, you go to fucking prison. And then there's another shit story there where you're losing your shit. You have to either mine or try to escape. If you escape, here we go again. You have to go to Korea if someone picks you up and whatnot. So this must pay good, right? Well, it's 33,000 total. So if there's 3 players, that's 10,000, 11,000 per player. You can do a bonus, so where it's 40,000. So that's going to be what? 1250 per player if there's 3 of you, for probably 40 minutes to an hour and a half if you succeed. You know what? I will pick 5 boxes and deliver them to New Babbage and make 40,000. No effort, no stress. These missions need to be hundreds of thousands of Alpha UEC. If you want people to go there and do it, because on the paper, especially for new players, it's oh my god, 33,000, it sounds amazing. It's bullshit. It's nothing. It's literally nothing. Now, some people would say, yeah, but all the prices went up and whatnot, and it's insane. Sure, I'm not saying I need more money for that mission. I'll be okay with 30,000 per group, but then lower the box delivery to like 300, or 500. Lower the price of Quantanium to, I don't want to, like, I don't know what the price is, but if people are making millions, like, make it so that they're making tens of thousands. And then I'm going to risk my life to go and kill, a snitch for a prisoner, for a prison, whatever, transport, get killed, end up in prison, and end up with like fucking 10,000 and be happy about it. So in relation to other things, I think it needs to be uh, balanced. And Orchid had a really good point there, where he said, you can go over it, that they're not really thinking about it that way.
Yeah, I think right now they're either their main thing is, one, they're not even taking an account, they're just kind of throwing a number out, or two, they are trying to make it seem like those missions will pay out better, but they're not thinking, oh, if you take more than, a couple people, then you're not really making a lot of money with it. So one of the things I kind of touched on a little bit as well is I'm pretty sure when they talked about the economics of Star Citizen being implemented, that those types of missions would, have a specific algorithm to them, so that way when you do certain actions, depending on the level of threat, the level of how many people that it takes to actually complete missions, stuff like that. Those things will actually take into account when they have reward system in the economics. But right now, it seems like they throw out some arbitrary number and say, okay, this is worth this much, and then they're trying to target it so people go do it. But when you think it through, it doesn't really make sense to go do those certain missions, because they're not really going to be a big incentive.
And you want people to do it, because
Right.
that's how we figure out the bugs. And it's just a number. So before anyone tries to say like, yeah, but changing this, whatever, development, no, it's a number. Like, this has nothing to do with development. So someone said 33,000 plus bonus. That person could say 330, thousand plus bonus. It's just someone is just putting their number. So maybe it's more complex to like change it once it's in the game, which I really doubt. I don't know. But like, either bump up the prices where we risk our lives and ships and spend fuel and whatnot, weapons, bullets, like FPS missions. The eviction ones, you die, you lose your weapon. Your weapon is like 6,000 alpha UC. The reward you get is like, how much? We were
4,000.
getting like 600
It's something
per
stupid.
player.
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking, are you kidding? Why would anyone go and do this? And it's a nice content. We actually enjoy it, but we do it and we waste our money. It's like,
Yeah.
it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get some kind of balance in there. I know right now that's not something that they're not putting a lot of thought into it. So
I really think they should.
I really hope that when the economic system comes in, that these kinds of factors play into it. And it may be I haven't read up on it too much, so
I'm sure it will.
yeah.
I'm sure the game will not come out. I'm not saying, like, I'm sure they will think this through, and the game, when it comes out, it will be fleshed out, and all of the rewards and prices will make much more sense. But I think if you want to nudge players to do something, and you're trying to do it with money, I mean, if that's your tool to tell us, please go and do this mission so we can clear the bugs, then think about the other price. It's come on.
Yeah.
There's only so many missions in this game, man. There's like 20 things that reward money. That's what bugs me. It's not like there's a system with 10,000 fucking missions and then you have to balance all this, and yeah, that's crazy. Who's gonna deal with that? Fuck it. No, man. There's like 20 sources of money. That's it. Please. It's just stupid. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's fine. And that's what this section is all about is, kind of
Yeah.
calling out those things and, putting in our 2 cents, which, probably isn't even a penny. But, yeah, hopefully all that stuff gets thought through a little bit better, and keeping on track of what we've said before, they put a lot of thought into what it is that they're creating. And there's a level of detail that actually surprises me when I see these types of things. So I know when they get to that point, they will probably be researching economics and going on to experts that can actually guide them in that direction, stuff like that. So
I agree. I'm
yeah,
sure that's going to happen.
I'm sure later on, but right now it does seem like it's
You don't
very,
need an expert for this.
yeah, it's very skewed right now. So Chegg, that's the end of our podcast, sir.
That's the end of our podcast. And this
Yes.
time, I'm always looking forward to recording our podcasts, but I'm really excited for the next
Yeah.
one because I can't wait to have Meyer here, pick his brain.
Yep. It'll be very exciting.
Yeah.
We have a recording date set, so next Monday, which is the 11th, we should be premiering that episode of Star Citizenship. There. Um, any other final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Yeah. If you like it, like it. If you don't like it, dislike it. Subscribe if you want to know when we make a new one, which is actually fortnightly. Shots fired. Uh, and click on that bell. Also, if you're joining the free flight and you're making your account, use the fucking code that is under, or your friend's code, obviously.
Yeah.
And thank you for making it this far. I don't think many people make it this far. If you made it this far, tell us that you made it this far in the comments.
Drop us a line, send us a message, because we don't know how much you guys are actually listening to. So, yeah. Yeah, this was a great podcast. I was really looking forward to recording this one. And he's got a thought, but if I keep talking, he's not going to interrupt until I finally stop, and I'm just going to keep stalling. So he keeps his fingers up like, what?
One really important thing you have noticed, and if you made it this far, I'm assuming you guys kind of care about what we do here. There's a problem. We are not mentioning some things right now because that affects how YouTube is doing things, and promotion of the videos that mention that is not happening. So actually liking is kind of important now because we did not know this, and last 3 episodes went much down instead of up. We figured out now why, and we are sticking to our guns now. But if you can help with that, like share it a little bit, if you like it, maybe another citizen who would enjoy it, drop a like or something, please. We never ask for that, but this time it would really mean a lot because everyone likes to see that upward trajectory.
Yes.
Thank
It
you.
was very nice. We've seen a very good trend going on.
Oh yeah.
And we
And
do
beautiful
appreciate
comments,
it.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, looking at the stats between Podbean and YouTube, it looks like we are getting traction, but we would like to hear back from you guys. We hear the same comments from people on YouTube, which we very much appreciate. If you're looking at this on YouTube, just throw a quick, hey, hi. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, now that you're at the end, maybe you not even watch the end of it, so you won't get this message. But all right, let's wrap it up. All right, bye bye.
Hey.